we need to have a serious discussion. Who the hell is the best player in the world right now? I think for a while now it was widely considered that Giannis was clear cut the best player in the world coming off of his championship. But after the way the Bucks got eliminated this postseason, I think it's kind of consensus that Giannis no longer has the right to that title. Now, is that fair? I don't know. He missed 2.5 games. He came back, was playing with the injury. The momentum was with the Heat. I don't know if you can fault or blame Giannis for how the Bucks folded this postseason. Now, Giannis can reclaim that title easily if he comes back next year, wins the title, and dominates. I think everyone will be quick to say he's the best player in the world. But as of right now, it's up in the air. Me, I'd love to say that it's LeBron James. I think a part of me still thinks that he still has that little bit of burst in him when he needs to be the best player in the world. But consistently, can he be the best player in the world through a season, through an entire playoff run? I don't know anymore. Maybe if the Lakers win the title, maybe he'll reclaim that. But it's kind of clear now that he's at a different stage of his career, and it looks like Anthony Davis is the best player on his team. So I'm going to have to put Bron out of this discussion. Another guy who I really thought would step up and be the best player in the world by now was Jason Tatum, and he's had an up and down playoffs. Not even really up and down, mostly a down playoffs. And I'm not even sure if he's the best player on his team anymore. I saw a great tweet that said Jaylen Brown's a better player. Jason Tatum has higher peaks, which makes us think that he's a better player, but Jaylen Brown is consistently the better player. And I think that's fair to say. Jaylen Brown was consistently the best player in the NBA Finals last year for the Celtics. It was not Jason Tatum. He underperformed. I thought Jason Tatum was going to come into this season, dominate, and win MVP. I mean, he started off great, was MVP for a quarter of this season, kind of fell off. And in this playoffs, it's been rough. So Jason Tatum not in this discussion. I think there's about four players who have a right to claim this title right now. And the first person I'm going to start with, probably going to be my thumbnail, is Devin Booker. D Book has been killing it. And I'm going to come clean. I've been critical of D Book. I said he's overrated. I never thought he was a 1A kind of player. I always felt like he was a 1B or a second option. Devin Booker is clearly a 1A. Book is just putting up ridiculous stats. I'm going to read you a bunch of different stats that just show how out of this world Devin Booker is playing. Devin Booker has scored the most points through the first 8 games of the postseason since Michael Jordan in 1990. In 1990, Michael Jordan put up 325 points during his first 8 games. Devin Booker put up 295. This guy's putting up Michael Jordan type numbers, the greatest scorer of all time. That's what Devin Booker is doing right now. These are the points he's put up in every single game during the playoffs: 38, 45, 30, 47, 27, 35, 47, and 36 points. And lastly, over the past 2 games, Devin Booker has shot 34 of 43 from the field. That's 79.1% from the field. Devin Booker's not a big who hovers around the rim getting layups and dunks. This guy's putting up threes, tough contested mid-range jumpers. Devin Booker's on fire right now. We can't question him. He definitely has a claim to say he's the best player in the world right now, the best shooting guard in the world. But I think someone else may have something to say about that because it's close. Jimmy Buckets dominated the Milwaukee Bucks, arguably the best defensive team in the league. They have 3 all NBA first team defenders in Brook Lopez, Giannis, and Drew Holiday, and they could not do a single thing to stop Jimmy Butler. 56 points in that one game. Put up 56 points. That's the most in Heat franchise history. That's tied for the fourth most points in a postseason game. Jimmy Butler has been playing at will, and the name Playoff Jimmy, it's fitting because he's turned it up in the playoffs. He doesn't play like this in the regular season. Jimmy Butler's absolutely dominated, and he clearly outplayed who was currently the best player in the world, Giannis. So he has a claim too. He could say, yo, I went up right up against the best player in the world. I snatched that title right from his hand because I outplayed him. If anyone gets to claim that title, it should be me. Back to the Western Conference. I'd argue that this guy is the best player in the world. This would be my pick, and that's Stephen Curry. Consistently been one of the best players in the league since 2015. And on top of that, he's been winning championships. It's kind of crazy to me because Steph Curry kind of flies under the radar with the best player in the world talk. I think 2016 when he had that, unanimous MVP season, 73-9 Warriors, I think he was considered the best player in the world until LeBron snatched that back in the NBA Finals. But I think these past few years, Stephen Curry has been consistent. He's the current reigning defending champion, the current reigning finals MVP. And he, if anybody, definitely has claim to say that they're the best player in the world. Right now, he's hooping. He had that 50 ball in game 7 to beat the Sacramento Kings in Sacramento, put the team on his back, literally got no help, and helped his team advance into the second round. Stephen Curry's been lights out. Not only do you see it in the box score with the numbers he puts up, but his gravity, the way he impacts the game, even without necessarily even having the ball, just the attention he gathers. Just watching Steph Curry, I'm a LeBron fan, so I'm rooting for the Lakers. I'm literally scared to death of this guy. Anytime this guy gets the ball, anytime he shoots the ball, when I'm watching the Warriors on offense, I'm not even watching who's on the ball. I'm watching Steph and Clay running around, getting open, coming off of screens, and just seeing how they navigate. These guys are deadly. Steph Curry, best shooter of all time. He definitely has a claim to say he's the best player in the world. And the last player, the Joker, 2 regular season MVPs, arguably could have won MVP this year as well. The Joker is coming off of a 51-point performance against the Phoenix Suns. There was nothing they could do to stop him. This guy was doing whatever he wanted. Not only did he drop 51 points, I'm pretty sure he got like 10 assists too. The Joker just does everything offensively. There's nothing the defense can do to stop him. He's a bully. He's a playmaker. He also garners a lot of attention, just like Steph Curry does. The defense has to lock in and focus on Joker. Nikola Jokic, man, I think he's been underrated. It's crazy to say that a 2-time MVP has been underrated. I think there's a lot of people who underrate this guy, whether it's, he doesn't have the flashiest of game. He plays for the Denver Nuggets, doesn't play in the biggest market, but you really have to watch this guy to understand how good he is. I think a lot of the criticism comes from the lack of playoff success he's had over the past couple of years. I've gone over this numerous times. He hasn't had a full healthy team, so to criticize him for that is totally unfair. This year he has a healthy team, and this year if he doesn't get the job done, then I think you can criticize him. And there's a little bit of pressure on him now. The Nuggets were up 2-0, and all of a sudden, Devin Booker and Kevin Durant go crazy for a couple of games, and now it's a 2-2 series. I was quick to write off the Suns, just like everybody is. When it comes to the playoffs, everybody wants to jump the gun and be right about their predictions. After watching the first 2 games, I said the Suns have no chance. They literally have no depth, no help, and clearly I was wrong. They got a bunch of help tonight. Landry Shamet was ridiculous. So the pressure's on Nikola Jokic. If he blows a 2-0 lead, I think that's going to feed into the narrative that all the haters and naysayers have. So Nikola Jokic better not blow this series. I think if he makes it to the conference finals, it's a successful season for him. Obviously, the goal for the Nuggets is NBA Finals and a chip. But Nikola Jokic, without a doubt, one of the best players in the world. And I think the claim to best player in the world, I think we might end up giving that to whoever wins the title. I think that player will have the rightful crown to say that they're the best player in the world. So if Jokic leads the Nuggets to championship, I think he holds the belt. If Steph Curry leads the Warriors back-to-back championships, no question he holds the belt. If Jimmy Butler bullies his way through the Eastern Conference, beats the Knicks, beats Jason Tatum in the Celtics or Joel Embiid in the Eastern Conference, goes to the finals, beats the Joker, beats LeBron and AD, beats Steph, beats Kevin Durant and Devin Booker, then there's no question that people are going to say that he's the best player in the world, especially how dominant he's been playing. So definitely a discussion that we need to have on our hands. Doesn't need to be had right now. I think a lot will help us decide who the best player in the world is as these playoffs unfold, but these playoffs have been absolutely ridiculous. Probably one of the best playoffs I've ever seen. Definitely better than the past 2 postseasons. Off the top of my head, I'll say the bubble was a ridiculous playoffs. I think the 2016 season, ridiculous playoffs. And I think this season's playoffs is, getting into that territory. I think it's always been clear who the best player in the world is. Obviously, you have seasons here and there where certain players just have ridiculous seasons. But consistently, I think it's clear who the best player in the world is. And there's always a passing of the torch. I think Giannis had it. Before Giannis, it was LeBron. Before LeBron, Kobe, Tim Duncan, Shaq, Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Wilt Chamberlain, Bill Russell. So it's been clear who the best player in the world is. I think what we're in for is just a changing of the belt every single year. Someone's going to have that title every year. This year it might end up being Jimmy Butler, or it might end up being Steph. And then the next year, Giannis may get it back. And then the year after, Devin Booker may get it. So I think that's my prediction. That's what I think we're in for. NBA history says that doesn't typically happen, but We're in a new era, man. It's just great for the league to have this many people hooping right now. Look at the stats I just talked about with Devin Booker. In a different era, I think no question we could say that guy's the best player in the world. But then you go over here and you see Jimmy Butler dominating against the best team in the NBA, dropping 56 points. And then you see Steph Curry dropping 50 points. And then you see Nikola Jokic dropping 51 points. The talent is at an all-time high. And the fact that we can't definitively pick a best player in the world just shows you, just emphasizes how much talent we have in the league right now. And you could argue that some guys who aren't even in the playoffs right now or who've been eliminated already may also have a claim to that. The more players that enter this conversation, the more parity there is in the league because these players will be spread out across different teams. I'm here for it, man. And then, next year more players can enter the conversation. We got guys like Luka, got guys like Shea, we got guys like Victor Wembanyama coming into the league. So this is only going to get more competitive for that best player in the world title. And I can't wait to see who's going to grab that title next. Thank you all for watching this video. Make sure you guys like and subscribe for more content like this. It's been your boy Hawass, aka the B-Ball Files, signing off.